They laid out the red carpet, treated us very nicely. Then they said, what do you think of our society as it is now? I said, I have to go all through it, then I'll tell you. So they flew us all over to their islands in the sea, Palma. We've been all through Dubai. And they fed us real well. Then I said, it's not going to work. They said, what do you mean? They got angry. I said, don't get angry, listen to me. If you have a system that depends on tourists, if there's an economic dip in the world, you're not going to get any tourists. So they said, but we're building a lot of things. I said, like what? We built a big desalination plant to convert salt water to drinking water. And I flew over it, we landed, I looked it over. I said, what do you do with the water? They said, we built the world's biggest water park where you slide down the hill. I said, that is unsane, not insane. Right. Unsane means not bright. I said, so you live in a desert country, you should build hydroponic gardens. You know what that is? Soilless agriculture. You should build and import all materials you have scarcity of. You build for tourists, every building is a different size. You got architects from all over the world in Dubai, and they're all egotists. They build a tall building with their name on it. See? So architect Jones, architect Smith, that's the bullshit world. So what you need is something like this, survival system. Then later on in the creative world, which I'll get into a little later, in the creative world you go into detail, but I better finish this. All these roadways are very dark, black, and there's piping underneath it running up and back. In Florida, you get 50 watts for every square yard. So you pay no electric bills, you burn no fossil fuels.
It generates its own electricity from the sun.
And heat and cold, and these are indoor agriculture, outdoor agriculture, but you don't own anything. There are 100 bicycles right here, and you ride through the country. You check them out. This way, you go to the golf. If you play golf, I don't like that at all. But if you do, there's a clubhouse. When you get in there, you check out the clubs you want.
Right.
Play, leave them there. This way you lug all the crap home. You got a closet full of crap. You get what I'm talking about?
I do.
It goes much further that way.
This is my perfect dream.
I've been working on this all my life.
I understand.
You understand that?
How do we get rid of a person's ego, the need to control things? Because that's really what it comes down to, is the internal corruption, the internal fear.
Okay. When I was a kid, other kids used to say, my plane is better than yours.
Right.
That's ego.
Right.
I met one kid, very different. I built a strange airplane. I never built anything normal. Rotary wings, not propellers. The wings rotated. I built all kinds of strange airplanes. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
All right, and the normal kids used to make fun of me. What the hell's that supposed to be? But I worked alone a lot because I didn't depend on approval of other kids. If you depend on that, you become normal. So I did not seek approval. I seek solving the problem of the airplanes that didn't fly that I made. Right. So a guy came over, an older guy, and he watched one of my planes dive into the ground. And I was sitting there scratching my head. He says, you know, Jacque, your wing is too far back. I said, where did you get that idea from? He says, I made the same mistake you did. So I didn't make a mistake. I didn't know any better. So I put my wing a little forward, and it didn't do that. And he was extensional to me. Not, my plane is better than yours. Right. That's ego. When you're extensional to other people, they are more extensional to you.
Yeah, I found that.
Ego is a high price you pay for self-approval, losing the broad point of view of working together instead of being competitive.
More joy.
Sharing idea. So we raise kids in our schools to share values. So, did I tell you about the island in the middle of the lake? All right. Now, in that system, when they get to the craft shop, they can build an automobile, but it won't go together unless 4 kids lift up the car and the others put the wheels on. So we don't say cooperate. They don't, it won't go together.
We just build it into the system.
Right. Do you understand what I'm talking about? So you can answer questions. Yeah. All right, so when they ask you who makes the decisions, you say no one. They arrive at decisions. That's like testing agriculture.
That's like the old. That's like the the old original people.
Scientific method.
Well, no, the original peoples in the United States, they came to decisions as a community. The men would talk.
They put them to test. Yeah. If things like engineers don't say this is the strongest wire made, the other engineer says, I don't understand. Well, its tensile strength is so much. He says, that much? He says, then he puts it in the machine, tears it. He says, you're right. I love that system. When we design airplanes, we figure the wings will hold 25 pounds per square foot. That's safe. Then we put sandbags on it until it breaks. Says the calculations are right. I like that system. Then when we finish building an airplane, we pull it up off the ground and drop it to see if the landing gear holds it. Even though your calculations say it will, we don't trust that either. So I like that system, and that's the system we use from now. Suppose a guy come up to me and says, suppose a guy wants to build a swept forward wing and another guy wants to build a swept back wing. Who decides? We build swept forward, swept back, all kinds. Why not? Why do you have to be this or that? That's only in a money system. You have limited funds. With resources available, we'll give every lab whatever they need. No more nickels and dimes. We would like a new extension to study diseases of the eye. Well, that'll take a few years to raise the money. We got the resources. We'll build the shelters. We'll build what we need. Again, nobody owns anything. You don't own it anyway. If you got 20 acres of land, you kick the bucket, somebody else is there. So you really don't want money. You don't want to own anything. All you want is access to what you need.
Be able to do what your soul's longing to do.
Yes, except hurt other people. So we'll go to work on you if you do. We don't put you in prison. Okay? We're not kind or good. We know that the old system is crude. They didn't know how to solve problems, so they made laws. Or a guy speaks to somebody and says, do you understand? The guy says, no. He yells, damn it, I told you this. And then if he makes a fist, and then he punches, because he doesn't know how to reach other people. Whenever you use your fist, like if a guy wants to hurt you, a lot of people are angry in the world today. They come over and try to hurt you and say, where'd you get that shirt? From the Salvation Army? Now, if you say, well, I paid more for that than you paid for your whole outfit, he succeeded in hurting you. The proper answer is, I found it in the reject pile of the Salvation Army. See, I can't hurt you. You see what I mean? A lot of people get angry and they don't. Why weren't you married 3 times? No, 11. So they're trying to hurt you when they come up with something like that. Wasn't your father once in prison? 11 times. See, they can't hurt you. There's a lot of people out there very unhappy in the world, and they want us two guys punch the hell out of each other, and that injures their brain. They become senile earlier. And so there'll be no prize fights. Not that I don't like them. They're not good for people. And they say, well, what's the matter with a prize fight? 2 guys there? What's the matter with a bullfight? The bull sometimes, in Spain, they have the bull run down the street and people get the hell out of the way. That's normal to that culture. We will outgrow that through education. You can't outlaw it. You can educate them out of it. So all the things that we consider normal, like a young lady flying an airplane upside down through a hangar, is to amuse a lot of sick people. They don't need to fly upside down to show me how good you are. Or people, at least when I was a kid, I don't think you've ever seen this, but people used to sit on a telephone pole for 7 days. People would bring them food to break a record. Why? Because people didn't exist. They had no recognition. So they'll sit on a telephone pole, or they'll walk a tightrope between 2 skyscrapers. And next year, nobody comes to see them unless their brother-in-law is on their shoulder while they're walking a tightrope. Then they got their nephew on his shoulder.